G'day guys, hope you're all doing well. This string of videos will bring you my top 10 official base locations for each Genesis Part 1 biome. The first 5 will be for established tribes who can afford to splurge the materials. The last 5 will be locations for when you are just starting out or transferring from another server and need a tucked away location for you and your Bloodstalker before building up your defenses. None of the locations in these videos will be in mission zones, underwater or in caves. If any of these tickle your fancy, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Starting from the in-game rated easiest to hardest biomes. Alrighty everyone, location number 1 coming up. So we have the map reference here as a guide. Here at 30.0, 58.8. So just underneath this overhang, stick down a cliff platform, decent height, up away from here. The shallow water means that it's easy to block off if you wish to do any sort of breeding with aquatic creatures. The only thing I can really think of is maybe Tusos and Basilos, but it's entirely up to you as to what you fancy. And yeah, this is the ocean biome, predominantly water, and the only way to really get stone in order to sort of build up. I don't think there's any stone on the ground that's loose so you can just sort of pick up. I think it all has to be harvested from certain rocks and whatnot. So I don't recommend starting off in the ocean biome for that exact reason. But nonetheless, we'll head over to location number 2. Alrighty, so location number 2 is not on a cliff platform. It is instead up here on this pillar, which is right in the very corner of the map. So the location for this pillar, 14.1, 61.4, and there it is on the map as a reference guide. So we've got 2 world borders right here, so excellent protection, automatically taking away about 50% of all the places to be attacked from. Obviously its height also makes it much harder for people to be able to raid you, so gas bags, reapers, skiffs, the typical Genesis related sort of, I guess, raidable weapons of destruction. And yeah, if you can flatten this area out, you have plenty of space for all your crafting and breeding needs. So definitely high up on the list. Next, we'll go over to number 3. Alright, so number 3, 44.8, 45.9. There we are on the map as a reference. So this is probably my favorite spot in all the ocean biome. So we've got plenty of water underneath this for any breeding for aquatic animals. You can stick down another platform underneath this main platform and use it as a breeding area. You can stick another platform above this platform if you wish to use it as a turret tower. And the only way in and out is through this gap up here. So I believe this may be too small for a skiff to get through. So skiff's not going to do any good in here. They're going to have to use, you know, the typical creatures, but if you stick down a turret tower here somewhere and just attach your regular cabling and all the other bits and pieces, and then probably another turret tower maybe about here, just to try and stop them from being able to get past the turret tower and then into this spot here, you might have a good chance as well. And sticking down a foundation here and then a big hatch frame to sort of go over this area that can open and close at will. Just anything you can do to sort of defend the area. But overall, excellent spot. Probably the most OP spot in terms of unraidability for the ocean biome. That probably isn't underwater. If you can manage to find a nice spot that's underwater using vacuum compartments, that might be even better again. But in terms of staying away from underwater or in caves, yeah, this definitely takes the pick. So now we'll head over to location number 4. Alright, so location number 4, 44.8, 44.5. And there we are on the map as a reference, not very far away from the previous spot. Again, similar design, staying close to a world border. Have a spot down here where you can easily make up your own turret tower, so to protect the bottom of your cliff platform. And obviously have an overhang as well for that little bit of added security. So nice and sort of tucked away over here in the corner of the biome, just to try and sort of make it a bit more awkward for people to either notice or get to. So if you can stay out of the way and not be noticed, well, all the better for you guys. So now we'll move on to the final established base location. Alrighty, so here we are at number 5, 15.2, 57.8, and there we are on the map as a reference. So I figured I might as well do a non-world border base location, just in case there are people out there who don't want to build near the world border, or maybe those spots are taken. I figured I might as well choose a standalone pillar. So my reasoning for choosing this one in particular is because it is by far the furthest and most isolated away from the other pillars. So what I mean by that is there's very few places where you can properly build upon apart from the top section itself. So obviously if people were to fob up, they can probably fob up down here on some of these flat areas, but if you put it down there first, then I'm sure it'll be perfectly fine. Whereas you look at other places like the second spot, for example, up there in the corner, you've still got this ledge across there, you've still got the areas down at the feet of the pillars, same with over there, just about every other spot. And as well as that, you've got to make sure that it's not going to be inside a build zone, so that would be sort of ideal. And with that, I hope that's sort of made it clear as to why I've chosen this one. It's not the tallest, but it is the most isolated, so it's just the most awkward to sort of get up to, for those of you who prefer that. So now we'll move on to location number 6. Alright, so number 6 sees us at 37.0, 43.8. Bottom left hand segment of the biome, and I need to stress this in regards to starting off in the ocean biome, that you cannot pick up stone just on the ground as is. It doesn't spawn in, so you can't make yourself a stone pick, and without the stone pick you can't mine rocks for flint, and without the flint you can't make yourself the hatchet. So you cannot get started in the ocean biome. It won't let you. You need to start off on another biome and then jump over once you've got the basic tools, and you'll be sort of good to go. But as for this area that I've chosen, against the world border, so semi-tucked away, and the water around here isn't overly deep, so if you can get a behemoth gate or a couple of dinosaur gates along here, you can have a nice little breeding area at the back where wild creatures such as Megalodon won't be able to interfere and sort of mess up your breeding lines and all that other good stuff. So being off in the corner over here as well, hopefully it won't be overly noticeable as people are deliberately hunting for it. And with that, let us move over to location number 7. Alright, location number 7, 33.3, 43.7. There we are on the map. Alright, surrounding area view. So again, just making sure that when you're first starting out to stay as out of the way as possible. So I've just chosen this little nook here. Hopefully it's a far enough distance away from other people. You should have, yeah, there's a little bit of metal here. As long as there's no foundations and stuff built up here, then you will be able to get a few resources. Got a bit of salt, got plenty of wood, and you got a couple of creatures that you can kill for meat and whatever else and hide and that you need or require. Is that another 2 blue Archaeopteryx? Huh. Alright, so just down here, nice and tucked away. That's really all you need it for. It's very high up, so you're not going to be able to get up here without grapples or a bloodstalker or something like that. Again, there is some shallow water around here that's easily blocked off, so if you were to do some quick breeding just to have something that's imprinted to you, then you can do that here. There is some deeper water right here for a larger creature, Tuso, Mosa, etc. And shallower waters here for other things like, I don't know, maybe you might want to do itchies. The eels are quite prominent in groups. So it's entirely up to you. This is just a spot that I wouldn't mind starting off out on, as long as I already had some basic resources. So now move on to location number 8. Alright, location number 8 sees us at 39.2, 57.2, and there we are on the map as a reference guide. So this one is a little bit, I guess, more along the noob side of things. It's a bit safer in regards to what you can expect from this particular area. So it's nowhere near as high up as you can see around. So just a simple grapple up to the top and you're in. You don't have to necessarily build it here. I believe you can put foundations around in another little segment here. At least I did have a spot somewhere. Yeah, you can put it up a bit further if you need to. So you don't have to necessarily go where I've gone, but yeah, it's entirely up to you. It's based on what your preference is. Obviously try and stay out of the the mission zones as well. So just getting yourself started, quick building a 1x1, go and grab the points and stuff you need, the glitches and whatnot. If you end up dying, you have a place to respawn at. So overall, not a bad spot, just need something quick and easy to get you to your next sort of level and progression. And with that out of the way, we'll now move on to location number 9. Alrighty, location number 9, 43.6, 60.0. There we are on the map as a reference. Okay, so this one I've chosen because, again, just a little bit safer. It's amongst some trees, so hopefully it's a bit more covered than the last spot. But if you follow me down here, I believe you can get down into the water and you should be able to get back up again. So you get into the water. Obviously, the water's not overly deep here, so you shouldn't really encounter too much except for maybe some eels or megalodon. But you'll want to just come up to this spot here, and you should be able to make your way up. Maybe. There we go. Alright, so you can make your way back up again if you need to. And then you just make your way over to your base, you know, clamber in and do what you need to do. But with that being right there, it does mean that you can sort of avoid needing to use a grapple bow, or if you don't have a bloodstalker as of yet. Just remember though that without a stone pick and stone hatchet, you won't be able to harvest the coral that's inside here. So these plants and stuff can be harvested, I think by Mega Shalon. Oh no, you can pick them yourself. So as you can see, you get a few bits and pieces of resources from them. Berries, silk, seeds, etc. Your generic sort of fruit stuff. You come down here, you can get oil from your Eurypterids. There's a couple here that are sort of wanting a piece of my booty, but nonetheless, if I quickly just get a pick, and I'll show you how you can get some stone and whatnot. So this coral is basically a stone node that's got little bits of metal sort of applied to it, and that's how you can get some very early game resources while you build up. Just remembering that this is only 1x rate, so you'll probably get a bit more than that if you're playing on small tribes or playing on an ARK or maybe an unofficial server where the rates are a little bit more busted. But nonetheless, you got your bushes, you got your plants and whatnot, and swim speed in the ocean biome is quite good as well. So all you need to do is just come back up to whichever area it is. Should be over here. Here it is. So this area here, it might help if you just sort of look up a little bit as you're doing it, just to work your way back up, and then take your materials back to your base, smelt it down, do whatever it is you need to do. There's not really a lot of trees around here. I wouldn't recommend knocking these ones down. I would dare say that it'd probably be safer just to make spark powder and use that to burn in the forges, which means that you'll have to find another area to probably over there, because that's not really far away, to go and grab your wood and whatnot and then swim back, because you just saw before I demonstrated that you do swim quite quickly. I don't have any points into movement speed or anything like that. I've just got fortitude for some reason. I'm not sure why I got that, but nonetheless, go and grab your wood from over there, come back and start using your forges and build yourself up. So again, not a bad spot. Definitely something you'd only want to be for a couple of days, just while you're building up whatever resources you require or getting whatever tames you need, and then transferring to either a safer area itself or transferring off the server altogether. So now we'll move on to location number 10. Alright, so our final location for this video sees us at 41.3, 51.3. There we are on the map as a reference guide. So this is actually a 2x1, so one of the larger ones for the video, or at least this segment of the video, and essentially meaning that if you are a little bit more established, then you'll easily be able to sort of pop down a simple base that's on the side here, away from everyone else. That way, if a bigger tribe were to, I guess, leave you alone, they can still build up here if they wanted to, up here if they wanted to, so on and so forth. But if they haven't, then you've got all the resources that you would need. So you've got plenty of metal up on these areas here. There should still be some metal down below, I think, or at the very least maybe some stone. You might have to hunt around for it, but yeah, normally you'll find it at the top of the pillars themselves. Okay, so there is a little bit here, which isn't too bad. It depends on what you're going to be needing it for, what you're using it for, what your, I guess, plan is being the ocean biome. Don't forget that if you somehow manage to get yourself a Dunkleosteus, a little bit difficult here in Genesis because it's an X-Dunkleosteus, so they take 50% reduction in firearm damage anyways because it's a Dunkleosteus, but then there's a third reduction in that again because it's a X-type, so you'll need a lot of tranks or a very high-end crossbow in order to sort of knock it out effectively. And if you can feed it up with its preferred food, which I believe to be superior kibble, then all the better. And underneath this area as well, so that's the area there with the coordinates that we've shown before, and we do have pearls underneath here. So these clams that you see, they're normally in fairly large congregations. Just walk up to them, or swim up to them and press E, and you should gather it the exact same way that you would pearls on other maps. There should be a couple more. Yeah, there's a few clusters around here. So again, I'm only on 1x rates, so it probably wouldn't be worth it for me. I'd want to go and get an anglerfish, and again, because of how close we are to one of the depths areas, so that's where dark blue is in the ocean biome, where the water is being shown, that's where depths are. So if you're able to go down to the depths, go to the mid-range and get yourself a anglerfish, that would be a big benefit to you. You don't need a saddle in order to use them, and they will get you a heap of silica pearls from those clams that are growing on the side there. And you should be able to find these all around. Now, as I was talking about with the Dunkleosteus, use the dunk to chew away at the coral, and you should see purple rocks down underneath there as well. I'll see if I can sort of zoom in on it. Those purple rocks there, full of metal, so if you can get a Dunkleosteus to start chomping on those, again, you'll it's like having an Anki. It really does sort of, you know, work its way up to a very, very rich supply of metal for you. But I've digressed on that. I think you guys get the point of where you can get the resources from, should you need to use a tame to gather them. And I thank you guys for viewing the video, and hopefully I'll see you over in the volcano. Until then.